A warm greeting. Today is Thursday, April 4, 2024. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia. Today, as we had eagerly awaited, the University of Colorado has published its forecast for the 2024 hurricane season in the Atlantic Ocean basin. Over the past few months, we have extensively discussed the hot temperatures prevailing in the tropical Atlantic region, along with the projections from various global models, all of which converge on the idea that the hurricane season could be one of the most active in history. This is probably not surprising to many, and as I mentioned in the video I recorded last Monday, the University of Colorado has issued the most aggressive April forecast since 1984 in terms of anticipated numbers of tropical storms. As we suspected, this forecast is very aggressive. They are predicting 23 tropical storms, of which 11 could become hurricanes, and of those, 5 could become major hurricanes, that is, Category 3, 4, or 5. When we compare these numbers with the average over the last 30 years, we can definitely see that we are possibly talking about a hyperactive season approaching record numbers. Furthermore, and more worrisome, note that they estimate 210 units of accumulated cyclone energy, when the normal is 123. Remember that this measure takes into consideration the intensity and duration of tropical cyclones, so such a high number could pose significant risk for the Caribbean and the Atlantic region. Another very important piece of information shared by the University of Colorado is that there is a 40% chance that this hurricane season will be more active than that of 2017. As you may know, that season was quite active with many major cyclones. In fact, the University of Colorado mentions that there is even a 20% chance that it will be the most active hurricane season on record in terms of accumulated cyclone energy. For example, in the Caribbean region, there is up to a 66% chance of a major hurricane crossing, when the norm is 47%. Additionally, there is a 62% chance of a major hurricane directly affecting the United States, when the norm is 43%. Let's then talk a little about the different factors that the University of Colorado took into consideration for this very aggressive forecast. First, as we have discussed over the past few months, the models continue to forecast that we will have the La Niña phenomenon developing in the Pacific region by the peak of the season. This reduces wind shear in the Caribbean and the Atlantic, paving the way for more favorable conditions for an active season and the formation and development of these tropical cyclones. In fact, in the latest NOAA forecast, it indicates that there is over an 80% chance of La Niña being present for the months of August, September, and October, which is typically when we see the highest cyclonic activity in the Atlantic. On the other hand, a very important factor is the extremely hot temperatures that continue to dominate the subtropical Atlantic, tropical Atlantic, Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean Sea. Specifically, the main cyclonic development region currently has temperature anomalies that are the highest we have seen on record. As indicated in this graph, no year had hotter temperatures in the main cyclonic development region. Very interestingly, the University of Colorado mentions that if temperatures in the tropical Atlantic region warm as slowly as possible over the next few months, we would still be in the top 5 years of highest temperatures on record. So we are already so close to the hurricane season that there won't be an opportunity for these waters to cool significantly. In the following comparison of images, when we look at the correlation of the seasons that have been most active in the Atlantic region, we can see that the current conditions are almost identical to the seasons that have been most active in history. Above all, note that in very active seasons, ocean surface temperatures are typically very warm just east of the Caribbean Sea, just as we see currently. Additionally, we have warm waters near the equator in the Atlantic, very similar to what we have currently. We also see fairly warm temperatures just east of Portugal and northwest of Africa, similar to years that have been very active. Also, note that slightly cooler temperatures in the region just east of the United States usually indicate better conditions for an active season. When we compare this image, there is an almost perfect correlation. Another interesting fact is that the University of Colorado has mentioned that despite their aggressive forecast, these numbers are below the results of projections from different models. All projections are above in terms of accumulated cyclone energy compared to the forecast from the University of Colorado. This means that even the forecast issued by the University of Colorado may be conservative, and perhaps we will see more cyclonic activity than is currently being projected in April. Lastly, I wanted to share with you the analogous years, which are the years that most closely resemble the distribution of temperature anomalies compared to what we currently have in 2024. The most similar years, or the analogous years, are 1878, 1926, 1998, 2010, and 2020. It turns out that all these hurricane seasons were quite active, with the 2020 season holding the record for the most active hurricane season in history. When we analyze the trajectories of the cyclones that formed during these years, you can see that historically, these seasons have been very dangerous for the western region of the Caribbean Sea, the Gulf of Mexico, and the region just east of the Lesser Antilles. Unfortunately, this is an indication that the hurricane season will not only be very active but potentially we will have cyclones that may travel further west and impact land regions. The intention of this video is to let you know that this season could be very active, but most importantly, to be prepared and remain calm because such an aggressive forecast does not necessarily mean that a tropical system will affect the region where you live. Every year, we must be prepared for the hurricane season, simply that this season may be more active and the probability of a tropical system affecting the Caribbean region, Gulf of Mexico, Mexico, Central America, and the United States is higher than normal. Over the next few weeks, we will continue to monitor conditions in the Atlantic, as well as other projections from global models. To ensure you don't miss out on content during the hurricane season, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the red button below the video that says subscribe. Then click the bell icon to receive notifications when I upload new videos. I hope you all have an excellent week. Until then, goodbye.